Let's deal with SpaceX. We are starting with the official legend. In 2001, Elon Musk suddenly came up with the idea to colonize Mars. After that, he comes to Russia, where he tries to find a cheaper rocket. Nothing happens in Russia but insight. You need to make your own launch vehicle. It will cost 10% of the existing government price tag. In 2002, Musk creates the SpaceX company, driven by this brilliant idea. He hires a talented guy, Tom Mueller, who, according to the media, has spent all evenings and weekends to design a liquid jet engine in his garage. Nothing special, because each of us has a friend who collects something similar in the garage. A rocket engine, a satellite, a mini nuclear power plant, or at worst, a cold nuclear fusion unit. Well, in 2006, Musk got the Merlin jet engine, designed for use on the Falcon family. Right there, Musk has an admission with all his property on the launch complex located on Cape Canaveral. And he has successfully launched the rocket from the territory of the Vandenberg base of the U.S. Air Force in California. Such a fairy tale. The rocket flies. The first step sets. The world applauds. But let's see what is not included in this fabulous version. Let's start with the fact that the cycle of creating a jet engine for a launch vehicle in reality takes much longer. No private company will be able to create without experience, groundwork, and technology within the time declared by Musk. Even Elon himself recently reproached American companies for using the Russian RD-180 engine while calling its design flawless. It's a shame that Lockheed Martin and Boeing are forced to use the Russian engine on the Atlas, but its design is flawless. He wrote on his Twitter feed, "So, creating engines for rockets is not easy, even if you invest a lot of money. Years of development, hundreds of prototypes, cyclic tests, and much more are needed." And Musk simultaneously had his own engine, his carrier, his own control system, which is fully integrated and interfaced with the control systems of the launch site at Cape Canaveral and the Vandenberg Air Force Base. But it doesn't happen. Control systems are not reconfigured under the new carrier. The entire interface of the carrier is tightly connected through pipelines, pneumatics, control signals. These are hundreds of control channels connecting the Earth with a rocket. And what do we see? After 5 years from the moment of insight, Musk figuratively pulls out a ready-made rocket from his pocket and says, "Here, you have a rocket," which is supplied with Canaveral and Vandenberg launch complexes. Where could he get these parameters? Where did he get the entire interface for connecting the carrier to the launch facility? The answer is only one. All this, in a finished form, came from somewhere. And further, it's more interesting. Musk started with a small Falcon 1 rocket, the first 2 launches of which were sponsored by the U.S. Department of Defense as part of the DARPA program for its evaluation of promising launch vehicles. For those who do not know, DARPA is responsible for the development of new technologies for use in the armed forces, independent of conventional military research institutions, and obeys the top leader of the Pentagon. It was DARPA that was responsible for sponsoring the development of the ARPANET network, which later became the Internet. So, the super closed, super cool office in which our innovator Musk is right out of the blue. Another miracle is that Elon not only immediately finds full support in the Pentagon and DARPA, but also manages to hire people in already working teams. Who is Tom Mueller? A man hired by Musk? From open sources, it follows that, firstly, Tom Mueller did not use his own garage under the test bench for the Merlin engine, but the landfill of the former aircraft munitions factory located in his native state of Texas. And this is logical. Anneal, i.e. testing, a new engine is impossible in a garage. It is done on sensitive sites, and Musk has access to them. Tom Mueller worked as a leading developer of the largest hydrogen engine in the program, which had government funding through the joint program of NASA and the U.S. Department of Defense. For 15 years, Mueller rose from an ordinary engineer to almost vice president of TRW. He was in charge of missile technology. Suddenly, Mueller, who did not sit in the vice presidential chair, goes to the company of the amateur novice Musk. And Mueller goes to Musk not alone, but takes with him the leading experts in rocket jet affairs from TRW. At the same time, Mueller works on technologies of the famous American lunar program, used in the lunar landing module, using pin nozzles. It works. And all this, together with the already prepared team of specialists, is being transferred to Musk. Furthermore, in 2002, simultaneously with the discharge of Mueller, the giant Northrop Grumman Corporation buys out the TRW Corporation. Not even a giant, but a monster who built stealth bombers and nuclear aircraft carriers. This monster sues Musk, which got commercial profit from TRW's intellectual property by hiring a former TRW employee, Mueller. The results of the trial are also similar to a miracle. The baby SpaceX managed to fight with an aerospace tyrannosaur and win. And what do we know about the company TRW? It takes 57th place in the Fortune Global 500 list. That is in the rating of the 500 largest world companies, the criterion for compiling which is the company's revenue. This is the developer of all major U.S. reconnaissance satellites, pioneered 10 automatic interplanetary station, U.S. Viking probes for Mars. TRW's staff includes more than 122,000 people. Tom Mueller, together with a reliable team, escapes to Musk from such a monster. Only in TRW, Mueller was engaged in the hydrogen engine, and in Musk's team, he took up the kerosene-oxygen Merlin. Hydrogen and kerosene engines are related to each other roughly like a Ferrari and a Ford F-250. But this is not over yet. Ramo and Woolridge, the founders of TRW, were employees of the legendary Howard Hughes. They made a long-range air-to-air missile under his leadership that had a range of up to 180 kilometers and was called the Falcon. In the early 1950s, Ramo and Woolridge decided to create their own company. In this, they were helped by a simple guy named Thompson, who, up until that time, owned the company which, in 1926, was the #1 supplier of valves and other parts of automobile engines for the American industry. They were Thompson valves in the plane that flew over the Atlantic in 1927. This is the fascinating story we have, and we are going to make it even more tricky. It was in TRW that Bill Gates did his first job, and he has a grandmother by the name of Thompson. Such a weird coincidence. This is the story of the formation of the company, which in 1953 became the general contractor of the U.S. Air Force for the development of ballistic missiles. The company, deeply buried in the U.S. military-industrial complex, from which Musk easily and naturally coaxes the leading specialist and 5 minutes to the vice president, and not his one, but with a group of high-class specialists and a suitcase of top-secret technologies. It is clear that Musk could never do anything like this without the support on the highest level. But in the eyes of ordinary people, Elon Musk, who has got somebody else's developments and specialists, is shown as a genius and a living personification of Tony Stark. Actually, he is a gifted man, chosen as a head of the aerospace iceberg by the government. The iceberg, whose greatest part is hidden under the water by the efforts of various interested parties. Thereby, ordinary people completely ignore it. In general, when we say SpaceX, we mean the military-industrial complex of the United States. Now let's move forward to another part of the world and look at a different development scheme for advanced developments. We should mention the Russian technology Slavyanka, which can be used to upgrade almost any engine. Here, for example, you can observe a plant in Kaluga upgrading conventional engines using Slavyanka technology under license. Let's take a look at a brief history. From 2016 to 2018, the technology was presented at international exhibitions. Here is the picture from Monaco, a Renault car and a bike with a motor wheel. September 2017, City Transport Exhibition, presentation of Zeta car platform with motor wheels to President Vladimir Putin. Dakar Rally 2017, Bosch generators of 150 amps, modified by the Slavyanka technology, are installed on Kamaz cars. The modification allowed trouble-free operation of the generators under extreme weather conditions and with increasing their power at the same time. In 2018, China and Denzel Company started serial production of engines using Duyunov technology, so this is a starting point of bikes' serial manufacture. Recently, the bench equipment for testing the engines reached the final stage has been launched. Companies from China, Europe, and Russia have already signed up the partnership agreements. The project has successfully passed all financial and legal reviews by the state and was approved for entry the Technopolis Moscow Special Economic Zone. We developed our own controller, which works not only with the Duyunov motors, but also with BLDC motor wheels. Because of the fact that the laser equipment was installed and launched, the process starting from accomplishing of technical specifications and finishing with the manufacturing, testing, and certification of engines with the Slavyanka technology can be fully used with company's capacity. The intellectual property of the project was increased because of getting new patents and submitting the new ones. The project increased 7 times in 2018, is developing without government interference. The crowd investing scheme was successful. More than 130,000 participants and innovators are conquering the global market. The opportunity to make a contribution to a global project and to be involved in the development of domestic technology attracted the attention of many people. If you want to know how to become an investor of this company and make money on technology, check out the link in the description and the first comment for this video. Those are 2 stories from the USA and from Russia. Do you think the state should be involved in the fate of the developers or let the strongest survive? Write in the comments what you think about this and share the video with friends. For sure, some of them sincerely believe in the genius of Elon Musk. Let them know the truth. Or maybe they will have a disproof of the facts presented in the video. I think a lot of people will find this topic interesting. Well, that's it for today. See you soon.